Hello YouTube, it's Lady Vet here bringing the BMF Season 3 Episode 1 review. The last time Terry and Markeisha was getting shot at, Meech was transitioning to Atlanta to set up shop, and Meech put Lamar out of his business and had him looking like the walking dead in the streets. So we're going back and forth from Atlanta to Detroit so that we can see what Meech has got going on in Atlanta and how it links to Terry in Detroit. Fast forwarding, T is frantic that he may lose Markeisha, so he's with her in the ambulance. Seemingly, he's okay. While Terry's waiting on the word about Markeisha, the Flannerys rush to the hospital to see about Terry, and LaWanda is with them. When she hears that Markeisha was in the shooting with Terry, she wishes Markeisha dead and goes off on Terry about sleeping with a married woman with kids by another street guy. Wanting LaWanda to stress as she is with Terry's second child, Terry asks the family to leave. Nikki calls him stupid and tells him that she doesn't want to lose him since Meech has gone to Atlanta. Now Meech has hit the Atlanta grounds running hard. First thing was for Meech to get some intros and a place to clean his money, so he followed Goldie's advice and hollered at Greenie. Now, Greenie was willing to help Meech but wanted $15 for his services. Meech eventually agreed when he couldn't talk him down. While Meech was doing business, he got a call from Hoop about Terry and Markeisha getting caught in a drive-by. Meech had one concern, and that was Terry's well-being. Once Meech knew that Terry was all right, he heard about Terry wanting to go after Saint. Terry grabbed the phone and tried to explain to Meech how would it look in the streets if he let this go. Terry was mostly concerned about his reputation. Meech and Terry went at it about Meech's warning to Terry to leave Markeisha alone in the first place. Terry hung up on Meech and was so pissed at his guys that he told them to go to Atlanta with Meech if they wanted to run with him. Meech and Greenie went to the Platinum Palace, where Meech admitted that he had never seen the exotic ladies get down like what he was looking at. Greenie told Meech to slow his roll, that the NBA bangers had everything there on lock. Greenie went his way, and Meech went back to business. He met up with Dice and Duffy and the boys in VIP, some of Sterl's people, so Meech was welcomed, but Meech noticed one of the guys wearing Ty's chain, known as Stax. After getting a better idea of Stax's position, Meech told him that Ty was like a brother to him. Then Stax noticed Remy at the bar, and Meech recognized him as Ty's killer. It was on from there. Meech's hot head did what he does, almost tore up the Platinum Palace, whipping on Remy and his crew. Meech's newfound crew joined in the melee, while Meech laid down a demo. After a night of messing up the club, they all went to the house. So Duffy told Meech that Ty held them down with no access to his plug, and that they had been scrambling for work for a while. While this wasn't good for them, this was music to Meech's ears, so Meech talked about Wait on the Way. Old hating Stax questioned Meek, but they both agreed that Ty connects them to each other. So Stax told Meech that Ty never told him about working with Meech, and he walked out and took his boys with him. After they walked out, Duffy began giving Meech some insight as to where they are now. Duffy told Meech that Stax was the link to Ty's distros and that they needed him, so Meech got a plan to get Stax on board. Now back in Detroit, T was at Markeisha's bedside until she came to. Terry told her that her kids were good, they think that she was in an accident. And he's going after Saint for hurting his queen. Markeisha did not like Terry going after Saint because she thought that it might threaten his safety, and she loved him and wanted them to be together. Now in the Techwood projects, Remy's still hot about Meech punching him in the face at the Platinum Palace. But Remy played Robin Hood and took bags to hand out to kids, and just as he was talking to them, Red Dogs showed up and showed out, mostly because the 96 Olympics was on for Atlanta, and they wanted to present the city in a good light. So, Red Dog's police unit had a green light to violate drug dealers. In Detroit, at the Flannery's home, Lucille and Charles can't seem to get it together after Charles cheated with Mabel. So Lucille told Charles that she's moving forward with the divorce. Of course, it's against Charles' wishes.
I want to move forward with the divorce.
I love you, Lucille. And I know that you still love me. I could feel it when I was with you.
I think you should find a new place to live.
Divorces take time and money. We barely making enough to keep the lights on as it is. I can't afford to rent someplace else.
It won't cost you anything to sleep on the couch.
I must be on my couch. This is still my house.
You stop being the head of this house.
Young Kevin's still behind bars after shooting a kid for bullying him. So his dad came to give him a pep talk, how to brush his teeth, how to maintain his hygiene, and how to approach the judge. Since his detective dad, Bryant, got suspended for the gun that Kevin used in the first place, and his partner got a demotion. Back at the record shop, Terry's apologizing to Hoop for the outburst at the hospital. Then Hoop tells him that Meech has been in contact with him from Atlanta, and he wants him to bring his half of the weight down to Atlanta.
Everything going on, and you talk to me like a hoe, and didn't leave no money in the nightstand. What's up? That's me, my fault. I was just trying to talk to you like my right hand. So, like, you gonna stay around? Yeah, Detroit all day. All right, since we started off with a clean slate, listen, Meech called you want me to bring down half of this weight, so Tazo approved the movie for him. Oh my God, this nigga Demetrius ain't even here, and he's still trying to call the shots. And why the fuck is he calling you? Come on down, I'm just a messenger.
There was some concern about K9 singing because he dropped a lot of names, but nothing on Meech and Terry, so Terry believed the K9 won't snitch on them. Kobe, the new detective, has arrived with no detective welcome, I'm afraid. Rip and Duffy worked on his music. Duffy told Meech that he is the Pepsi to the MK's Coke, since they were there first. Meech made it clear that he came so that everyone gets fed and not to start any beef. Meech's plan was to get Stacks on board with his runners. Meech gave Rip props on his sound and his talent and told Rip to consider music versus hustling. Meech got a call from Sterl about Terry's moves to cap Saint. Meech told Sterl to get in the middle of that move so Terry's hands are clean. Meanwhile, Charles and Lucille were in the kitchen talking about moving to a new church and how she felt ashamed and was embarrassed at the word on the street about her boys. When Roland came in the house, using the key that Meech gave him, Roland had a bag of groceries and flowers for Lucille, compliments of Meech. Charles appreciated the food, but not that Roland just walked in his house, so he walked Roland out and collected his keys along the way, all at the same time. Meech met up with Stacks and offered him the family discount. Stacks went along with Meech's plan, got him on board, and made a move to undercut the Miami killers. Detectives Jen and Kobe went to see Markeisha. They wanted info on Terry since K9 didn't name he or Meech in his snitch fest. Markeisha pretty much ran them out of her room with nothing. She held it down for tea. Meech met up with Dice, who's got scrappers and hustlers from Alabama to Texas. They would be willing and able to help Meech out. But things wouldn't be so easy, he explained, with Remy, 'cause he's ATL all day, walking kids to school and paying rent for those who can't afford it. He's Techwood's Robin Hood. Meech considered everything said, but he had more pressing business. They had to pick up Rip. In the D, Terry and Hoop are celebrating the money. Then Terry tells Hoop about having good memories at the record shop, but that it was Meech's idea. Terry wants out of the shadow of Meech, so he's starting to establish his own thing. Sterl comes to tell Terry that they got eyes on Saint, but when T get ready to go at him, he was told that Saint is taken care of already, and Terry is too big to get his hands dirty. So Terry and Sterl would leave the streets thinking that T did Saint. Meech and Duffy see Rip coming towards them, but they don't see Miami killers pull up until Rip is hit and Meech and Duffy is under fire. Remy gets word that 2 of his guys went down by the MKs. Remy is sure the Techwood will take care of them as they take care of the Techwood. Rip's gonna be all right, so Meech and the crew celebrate. Meech wanted all hands on deck to get weight to Dice's people, while Caller meet with Glock and the MKs to form an alliance to get rid of Remy. So they headed to Raven's Club. Kevin was headed to juvie when Bryant tried to tell him to be strong. Kevin continued asking questions until Bryant told him to stop. Bryant took his pencils and pad and told him that the pencils are considered a weapon. Terry finds Markeisha in good spirits and ready to leave the hospital, but she can't go to her house for her own safety. Terry told her about purchasing a big house for them to live in. The Flannerys are surrounded by meat and potatoes, along with LaWanda and T's son. In walked Terry and Markeisha, seeking refuge. LaWanda and Markeisha had words, then she takes her son and leaves the house. Markeisha gets to stay over, but when T sits with his parents, he doesn't like hearing the truth and decides to move out. Nikki asks for Terry's room since he's moving out, but Lucille said that Charles will get that room since it is still his house. Now you know that Charles did not agree with Lucille's decision. Detective Bryant is in his car drinking outside the detention center that has his son thinking about how Terry and Meech are free. He's thinking about Terry and Meech so much that he uses his cigarette to burn a hole in a picture of Terry that was in his files. After being told to investigate Saint's situation, Jen and Colby discover Saint's body, but Jen also discovers the drugs on the side of the bed. So she told Colby to go out and get the fingerprint kit while she stole the drugs. Terry and the crew celebrated their good day and Saint's death. The streets believed that Terry did that, and he and Sterl stayed quiet. Terry told the guys to get a good look around because he copped a new restaurant for the new spot. Meech reaches out to Terry to let him know about the pest being gone. Terry accused Meech of making plans behind his back, and Meech told T that he would always look out for him. He's his baby brother. More importantly, Meech told T of his vision of the Atlanta highway constructions. Meech wanted Terry to share his vision, but clearly Terry couldn't see what Meech saw. Meech explained how the highways linked to the different coasts and a direct line to Texas and Cali. Meech's vision proclaimed entrance into the country. Meech saw himself as the first black kingpin doing what no one has ever done. Meech and his crew went to the club but was blocked by Glock's orders, so Meech told them to tell him to come outside then. Glock's guys were firm, so Duffy told Meech that it wasn't the time or the place. Stacks said that they could have a drink somewhere else. But before leaving, Meech left a message. Meech wanted them to tell Glock that Detroit is in town and that he ain't going nowhere. As they left Glock's people, Remy and his boys drove up and dragged Dice's body out of the car to throw him in the streets in front of Meech. Remy told Meech that he wasn't welcome down south. He can go back up north and shovel snow, or they can send him back in body bags. Meech's hands appeared full with the Atlanta and Miami boys, so he had to revise his plans. Now it's Detroit versus everybody. Meech had a new family to ride with. As Terry would continue to establish his position in Detroit, Meech had established himself in Atlanta. Meech knew that he had his work cut out for him, and removing Remy was a part of that work. But Meech was smart and had no problem taking the fight to wherever. Episode 1 was a great season opener, in my opinion. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.